Hello everyone, today we are going to talk about the second part of secondary functions, which includes the secondary leading tone chord, deceptive resolutions, and other secondary functions. If you remember, the first part was about the secondary dominants. We can tonicize each major or minor chord in a key by using its dominant. For example, if you want to tonicize the D minor, our second degree, we can use A major or A dominant seventh chord, and we can tonicize it. Tonicization means giving emphasis, making one chord important, more important than usual. Likewise, we can also tonicize the third degree E minor by using B major or B dominant seventh chord because it is the dominant of E minor. We can continue, and the only chord which we cannot tonicize is the seventh degree in a major key because it is a diminished chord, and diminished chords cannot be tonicized because they don't give us any key, any name of key. Major key, we need either major key or minor key. Likewise, we can also tonicize each major or minor chord by using the leading tone, its leading tone seventh chord. For the first degree, we don't need any secondary function, but for the second degree, D minor, we can use the C sharp diminished seventh chord. For the third degree, we can use D sharp diminished seventh chord, and for the fourth degree, we have two options. Either we can use the half diminished seventh chord, or we can use the fully diminished version. Both are possible. The half diminished version shown here, the half diminished version, is the theoretically correct one. But in the literature, the fully diminished version appears more often because it sounds softer. We can listen to it. First, the half diminished version. And now the fully diminished version. Imagine it is a D flat. It sounds softer, and especially for the embellishing chords, it is more common choice in the literature. And for the fifth degree, we have also two choices. Here is only shown the theoretically correct one, the half diminished version, but it could also be an E flat. Then it is a fully diminished seventh chord. For minor chords, we don't have any other options other than fully diminished seventh chord. And once again, we cannot tonicize a diminished chord. One more time. Any chord that can be tonicized by a dominant seventh or dominant triad can also be tonicized by a diminished triad or diminished seventh chord. If the triad to be tonicized is minor, use diminished seventh chord, fully diminished seventh chord. If the triad to be tonicized is major, use either the half diminished version, which is the theoretically correct one, or the fully diminished version, although the fully diminished version appears to be used more often in the literature. This is the same table. Everything is the same actually. We are in G major, and if you want to tonicize the second degree, which is A minor, we can use either G diminished triad or G diminished seventh chord. We have only the fully diminished option, but if we want to tonicize the fourth degree, which is C major, a major chord, it represents the C major key in this case. We can use either the triad version, diminished triad, or fully diminished seventh, or the half diminished seventh. We have two options if it is about diminished seventh chords. And this is the same table in for minor keys. This time we are in E minor, and but the principle is exactly the same. If the chord is major, you have two options for seventh chord, and if the chord is minor, you have only one option. If you have difficulties with spelling secondary leading tone chords, you can use this three-step method. First step, take the root. Find the root of the chord that is to be tonicized. Here is an example. If you want to tonicize the 6th degree in E flat major, the chord, the 6th degree would be then C minor. The root is C. Go down a minor second and you will find the pitch B, then spell the chord. Either a diminished triad, or a fully diminished seventh, or a half diminished seventh. In this case, because the chord is a minor chord, we don't have any other options other than fully diminished seventh chord, and the result would be B, D, F, and A flat. If you have difficulties with recognizing secondary leading tone chords, you could use the same method in the quasi-reverse order. Let's say you are looking at a score and you have seen a chord that doesn't belong to the actual key. That means it is a non-diatonic chord. If this chord is a diminished triad or a diminished seventh or a half diminished seventh, it could be a secondary leading tone chord. First, take the root of the chord that could be a secondary leading tone chord. Then go a minor second up, this time up, and look if this chord is a diatonic chord of the actual key. Here is an example from the repertoire. Let's try to analyze the secondary leading tone chords. In this example, we notice two non-diatonic tones. The first one is in the second measure and the second one is in the sixth measure. If you notice a non-diatonic tone, we have to ask ourselves if those tones, or if this tone is a essential tone or a non-essential tone. Non-essential chromatic tone means that the tone has been used as embellishment, as a chromatic passing tone or a neighboring, etc. An essential chromatic tone means that this tone is a part of the chord, like in this case. If we have G sharp, and if we look at the other tones, B, D, and F sharp, we will notice this is a G sharp half diminished seventh. And the same goes also for the next example, for the next tone. A sharp, C sharp, E, and G. This is a sharp diminished, fully diminished seventh chord. Those are essential chromatic tones. Let's apply the three-step method to that example. G sharp is the root of the first chord. Go minor second up and you will find the A major in that case, and this is our dominant chord. And for the second one, the A sharp is the root of the chord. Go minor second up and you will find B, in this case B minor, and it is our sixth degree. That means the first one is the 7 of 5, 7 half diminished 7 of 5, and the second one is the 7 fully diminished 7 of 6. Let's hear it once again. Here is another example. Let's listen to it. Here we notice only one non-diatonic tone. This is also an essential chromatic tone. The chord is B natural, D, F, and A flat. Let's apply the three-step method. B natural is the root. Go minor second up and you will find C minor in that case, which is our sixth degree. This is 7 of 6. And here is the analysis. This is an interesting harmonic progression because after a cadential 6/4 we expect the dominant chord. This is the usual progression. But we get the composer Schumann used 7 of 6. Those are very related chords. I will explain how. First, the chord that should be in that place is, like I say, the dominant chord, the fifth degree. Let's listen to it. Then the deceptive resolution, but instead of repeating the B flat also in the second chord, which would have made the chord as a dominant seventh, he used a chromatic passing tone, B flat, B natural, and then C. We could also consider that chord, that sonority, as a randomly together coming of linear motions. It is also a possibility to analyze. Let's listen to the original version. Let's hear the entire excerpt once again. And this is a third example. Let's listen to it and try to identify and analyze secondary leading tone chords.
Traurig von des Berges in Schatte sie des Schloss herab, aber nachts im Talesgründe wandelt heimlich wunderbar.
In the first four measures we have a diatonic progression 1, 1, 5, 1. And this chord, it could be analyzed as a non-diatonic chord or as a diatonic chord. If we say it is a non-diatonic chord, then it is 5 of 3, and it is followed by 3. If we say it is a diatonic chord, it is then the uppercase 7, which is always followed by third. And then 5, 1. And our first non-diatonic chord is here in the second system. We see C natural and D sharp. The chord is D sharp, F sharp, A and C. D sharp diminished 7th chord. Let's apply the 3-step method. Go minor second up from the root. You will find E. E minor in this case, which is our 4th degree, and this is 7 of 4. And the next non-diatonic chord is that one in measure 66. And we have also here two non-diatonic tones, E sharp and G sharp. The root is E sharp, the chord is E sharp diminished 7th in the third inversion. Let's apply the method. Go minor second up, you will find F sharp. F sharp major is our 5th degree, our dominant chord. And we see here another way to show the secondary dominance. Instead of usual slash notation, we can also use a horizontal bracket to show the secondary functions. In this case, each Roman numeral above the bracket belongs to the indicated degree. In this case, 5, 7 of 5, 5 of 5, and the tonic of 5. Practically, it is R5. Let's listen to it once again.
Traurig von des Berges in Schatte sieht das Schloss herab, aber nachts im Talesgründe wandelt sein Licht wunderbar.
Let's do some exercise in spelling and recognizing secondary leading tone chords. There are a couple of exercises in spelling secondary leading tone chords. Let's pick one. For example, I picked the third one. We are in B minor and we want to tonicize the 7th degree, but the major 7th degree. We have to think about natural minor scale. The 7th degree of B natural minor scale is A natural and the chord is A major. And apply the method A and we have to go minor second down, which is G sharp. And the chord, the diminished triad, G, B and D. And because the requested chord is in first inversion, we have to write B, D and G sharp. And let's pick another one. For example, the 10th. We are in E major and we want to tonicize the 6th degree. The 6th scale degree of E major is C sharp and the chord is C sharp minor. Go one step, minor second down, and you will find C, B sharp. B sharp, D sharp, and let's pick another one. For example, I choose the 6th one. We are in C sharp minor and we want to tonicize the 6th degree. The 6th degree is also it is a coincidence, also A major, and go one step down and you will find G sharp, but this time it is a diminished 7th in the root position, then alto clef, G sharp, B, D and F natural. We have to include also key signature, but it is not our topic. In that case, we have also used the naturals for that tones. Okay, and maybe a last one. Let's pick a major key. Okay, let's choose that one. Or that one, the 11th. We are in G major and we want to tonicize the second degree. The second degree is A minor. Go minor second down, you will find G sharp. It is really a coincidence that all chords are A major or A minor. Doesn't matter. G sharp and F, the same chord actually. And in second inversion, D, F, G sharp, and B. This is the answer. So maybe the fourth one is, let's take that one. We are in G minor and we want to tonicize the fourth degree, which is C minor. Go minor second down, you will find B natural, and diminished seventh, B natural, D and A flat. And the second inversion, the first inversion is requested, then the B should be on the not in the bass. Okay, D, F, A flat, and B natural is the solution. And this time we have to analyze the secondary leading tone chords. Let's start with the first one. We are in C major and we have G sharp diminished seventh chord. Apply the method, take the root, G sharp, go minor second up, and you will find A minor, which is our sixth degree. This is then seventh, diminished seven of six. This is the solution. And maybe a little smaller. Okay, another one, this one maybe. We are in A major and we have C sharp diminished seventh. Take the root, which is C sharp, go minor second up, you will find D. D is our fourth degree. Then the solution is 7. It is a diminished chord and it is in first inversion of 4. This is the solution. And another one, let's pick that one, the 11th. We are in A flat major and we have D half diminished 7th. D, F, A flat, and C. Take the root, which is D, go one step up. Not one step actually, this is a bad habit. Minor second up, which then you will find E flat. E flat is our dominant. Then this is a 7, but this case a half diminished, and it is in second inversion of 5. This is the solution. Okay, last one maybe, the 14th. We are in G major and we have C sharp diminished triad. Take the root, go, and this is 7. This is a diminished triad in first inversion and of 5. Sequences involving secondary functions. It is about substitutions. I will explain that in a blank page. Let's say I am in C major and I want to write a short circle of fifth sequence. I start with the third degree, E minor, and then fifth down, A minor, fifth down, D minor, G, and the tonic chord. I can make each of the chords 7 chords. E minor 7th, A minor 7th, D minor 7th, G dominant 7th, and tonic. I can substitute each of those chords by using the dominant or the secondary dominant or secondary leading tone chord of the next one. Let's start with the secondary dominant. If I want to substitute E minor with another chord, I can use the dominant 7th of A minor, excuse me. Instead of E minor 7th, I can use E dominant 7th. In the same way, I can also substitute A minor 7th by using the secondary dominant of D minor, which would be A dominant 7th, and notice that the roots are the same. Instead of E minor 7th, I use E dominant 7th. And instead of D minor 7th, I can use the dominant of G major, which is D dominant 7th, and the other two chords remains the same. Okay, as you already know, the 5 and 7 have the same function, both are dominant chords. So, instead of E dominant 7th, I can also use the leading tone chord. Instead of the dominant, the secondary dominant of E minor, I can use the leading tone 7th of E minor, which would be G sharp diminished 7. Also, instead of A dominant 7th, I can use the leading tone 7th of D minor, which is G diminished 7. Likewise, instead of D dominant 7th, I can use F sharp diminished, or half diminished is also possible. Let's take the half diminished version. Half diminished 7th, and instead of G dominant 7th, I can use B diminished or half. Okay, let's do that diminished because it sounds softer and it is more common. Okay, let's listen to the first one. And now the second line with dominant 7th. And now the sequence with the diminished 7th chords. I have to use the inversions because of the voice leading rules. Okay, I don't have to use always the same chord, always the same quality. I can also make a mix. For example, I can start with E minor 7th, and then instead of A minor 7th, I can use G sharp diminished 7th. And then I can use the dominant version, and then one more time the diminished version, and finish the sequence. Let's listen to it. Also in this case, I have to use the inversions in order not to infringe the voice leading rules. If I analyze the chords, E minor 7th is my third degree, third 7, and C sharp tone, it is the 7 diminished, 7 of 2, and this is the 5 of 5, 5, 7 of 5, and this is my regular 7 and the tonic. I make it a little smaller. Okay. Although the Roman numerals seem unrelated to each other, there are a strong connection in the background through the substitution. This is an example about what I just explained. Let's hear it. After the tonic chord in the first measure, we hear the 6th degree in the second measure, which is C major, and after that a hidden circle of 5th progression begins. A regular diatonic circle of 5th progression would be C, F sharp, B, and E. We have E at the end and we have C at the beginning, but between them we have 2 substitution chords. The first one is A sharp diminished 7th. Remember, the diatonic chord would be F sharp diminished or F sharp half diminished 7th, and it could be substituted by a F sharp dominant 7th and also by A sharp diminished 7th, which is the case here. And the second one is D sharp diminished 7th. The diatonic chord would be B major or B dominant 7th, and this is its substitution. And here is the analysis. It is indicated here C, F sharp, and instead of F sharp, Beethoven used the A sharp diminished 7th, and instead of B major or B dominant 7th, Beethoven used its substitution, and at the end, the diatonic tonic chord. Let's listen to it once again. Checkpoint. The root of a secondary leading tone chord is how far below the root of the chord being tonicized. The answer is minor second down. And which of these is correct? The first one or the second one? The first one is correct. The difference is the first one is a fully diminished 7th and the second one is a half diminished 7th, because the chord being tonicized is a minor chord. The secondary leading tone 7th has to be a fully diminished 7th. The third question is a tricky question. Name the only major triad that is never tonicized by a secondary leading tone 7th. This is the tonic of a major key. Name 2 substitutes for a D minor 7th chord in a D minor 7th, G minor 7th circle of 5th progression. We know we can substitute a chord in a circle of 5th progression by using the secondary dominant or secondary leading tone chord of the next chord, and in that case it would be D7 or F sharp diminished 7. There could also be deceptive resolutions of secondary functions. Let's talk about that by analyzing an example. This is an excerpt by Schumann. Let's hear it. Let's start with the second measure of the excerpt. We have a dominant seventh. If you see a dominant seventh chord, that means this is a secondary dominant. A non-diatonic dominant seventh means a secondary dominant chord. And we can find to which degree it belongs by taking the root and going perfect fifth down. And we will find the D. And D is, we are in F major. And D is our sixth degree. Then this is the 5 of 6. But after that we have B flat major, which is our fourth degree. This is a very common mistake in harmonic analysis, to label the chords without connection between them. If you say this is 5 of 6 and this is 4, there is no connection. The purpose, the aim of a harmonic analysis is to show the relation between the chords. If you write 5 of 6, then this chord should be something in relation to the sixth degree, to the D minor. And it has actually a relation. This is 6 of 6. This is not 4, this is 6 of 6 in this connection. This is the analysis. Everything, all three chords belong to the D minor, which is our sixth degree. 7 of 5 of 6 actually, 5 of 6 and 6 of 6. It has been put in parentheses. I guess it is because in order to show this double relation, it is the 6 of 6 in this context, but it is also our fourth degree. Let's listen to it once again. Some connections in tonal music might not make sense functionally, but they might still work because of other reasons. For example, in example A, we have E dominant seventh connected to D dominant seventh. Functionally, it doesn't make sense. We are in D major and this is 5 of 5 and it moves to 5 of 4. It is not a substitution, it is nothing related, it doesn't make sense. But the connection, the progression still works because of the extremely smooth voice leading. It is clearer in the following examples. In B, for example, we have E dominant seventh connected to the C sharp dominant seventh. As you can see, only two upper voices move by step, by half step, and the other voices don't move. They stay. And in C, the same. Only two outer voices move by half step and the other voices stay. Also in the D example, only the soprano and tenor parts move by half step and the other voices stay. It is very often seen in the late Romantic music that the chords, that functionally unrelated chords, are connected with each other by an extremely smooth voice leading. In that case, it replaces the progression. Here is an example for this situation. Let's listen to it. In this example, we see two chords that are functionally unrelated. The first one is 5 of 4 and the second one is 5 of 2. The first one is F dominant 7th in the first inversion and the second one is D dominant 7th in the root position. If we examine the voice leading, we will notice that only two voices move by half step. E flat goes to D and F goes to F sharp. And the other voices A and C stay. So let's hear it once again. There are also other secondary functions. An example. Here we have an interesting situation. We are in a G major and suddenly we see an F major chord. F major, G major and then C major. It is not possible to label that chord within G major. It is not a secondary dominant actually. The secondary dominant would be it would belong to B flat major or minor, but both are not diatonic chords of G major. So, it is a secondary function to the fourth degree, to C major. 4 of 4, 5 of 4, and tonic of 4. Let's listen to it once again. And one last example by Tchaikovsky. Let's listen to it first. In this example, we see two toncizations. The first one is to the third degree, F sharp minor. We are in D major, by the way, to the F sharp minor, and the second one to the E minor, which is our second degree. And each tonicization is a complete progression, complete cadential progression, 2, 5, and 1. 2, 5, and 1. Let's listen to it once again. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.